Hi guys, welcome to another video on career solutions by Aashna Jain. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about something really interesting and something very different from all my other videos. In today's video, we are going to be discussing about 5 books that can be read by law students and lawyers, and they're all fiction books. They're not legal commentaries, case laws, judgments, notifications, circulars, amendments, nothing to do with that. It's everything to do with imagination and to do something with stories spun around the lawyers of lawyers and other allied people. So with that said, let's get started into today's video. The first book is The Widows of the Malabar Hill. It is written by Sujata Messi. The book is set in 1920s and it talks about the protagonist of the book is Parveen Mistry. She is apparently the first woman lawyer in India at that point in time, according to the fictional account. Now, there are two parallel stories running in the book. The first story concerns about the death of a very wealthy businessman called Omar Farid. He had 3 wives. Now, in his will, he left all his inheritance to all of these 3 wives. However, it's very odd to see, and this is what Parveen notices, that all of those 3 widows have further donated their inheritance to a board. Now, this is something odd. Why? Because those 3 women live in complete parda system, and if they give away their entire inheritance, there would be nothing left for them, and there will be no means for them for their survival. So in pursuance of that, she goes on to talk to all of these 3 widows in the bungalow at the Malabar Hill. While she's speaking with them, there is this person called Mr. Mukri. He is the agent for the execution of the will. Now he apparently has concocted things and told them very differently to the widows, and because of that, the widows have given away their entire inheritance that they got from Mr. Omar Farid. Now, in that process, while Parveen Mistry is speaking to all of these 3 women, Mr. Mukri does not like it, and like he shuns her away out of the house. And later, when Parveen Mistry comes back to retrieve her briefcase that she mistakenly left in the house, she finds out that Mr. Mukri has died and he's apparently been murdered. Now, of course, this entire thing becomes more complicated with uh, Mr. Mukri having died and the blame coming onto the 3 widows and the eldest daughter of the first widow. This is the first story and how Parveen Mistry solves this entire mystery. The second story is Parveen's personal life, which goes into the flashback. In that, it is told that Parveen is a Parsi and she falls in love with another Parsi boy. They go and settle in West Bengal. Originally, Parveen was from Mumbai. They go and settle in West Bengal, and there she's ill treated by her in-laws, by her own husband also. She is really ill treated during the time of her menstruation. She suffers from domestic violence and a lot of other things, and later, once she finds out that her husband was indulging with prostitutes in his office, she leaves him and she comes back to Mumbai. Also, this entire personal life of her also revolves around how she gets legal separation from Cyrus Sodawala, which was her husband, and how her dad helps her in that process, and how the Parsi laws were in favor of the boy, and yet how they were able to get the separation from the boy. The second book is my favorite. I've been recommending it across all platforms. Is Best Intentions by Miss Simran Dheer. Simran is a partner at a law firm in Bombay. She heads the competition law practice there, and she's written a fictional account of a protagonist called Gayatri. The story is set in Delhi, and Gayatri was earlier a litigating lawyer, and later she transitioned into being an academician. She's currently working with a history journal, and while she's at her job, she faces some issues with it, and in that process, she comes across Akshay, who's a criminal lawyer, and she, by no choice of hers, she still has to take help from Akshay. Now, while she's at it, she's also on the lookout for a life partner, and her mother is really at it. She's forcing her to meet people day in and day out for that. And for that, in that same process, Gayatri she comes across Vikram Gera. Now, Vikram did his MBA from London, and then he settled there. He works for a firm in London, but he's trying to move back to India because of his parents. Now, Gayatri is definitely smitten by Vikram. Not smitten, I would say she's drawn towards Vikram. And in the process of working with Akshay because of her job, she also, like, has started developing feelings for Akshay. So now she finds herself at loggerheads with both of these two people, and you are yet to see with whom she goes at the end of it, right? That's one part. And parallel to Gayatri's story, we see that her younger sister, who's also shown to be a lawyer, she's a corporate lawyer. She's an equity partner at a law firm, and she is married, just recently married another non-equity partner at the same law firm. So whatever ups and downs their marriage goes is also shown in the book, and what impact does a law firm job have on the life of Indian law firm lawyers is very aptly shown. I found myself rigorously nodding at various positions in the book, and definitely you should go ahead and read it. It's a very good perspective on the life of Indian lawyers, which is hardly seen in any other books. I mean, in any other fictional books in India. So you should definitely, in my all opinion, I would 100% recommend you to go and read this book. The third book is called The Undomesticated Goddess by Sophie Kinsella. This is a very straightforward book. It's about a corporate lawyer. She's 29 years old. She's in London, and she's about to become the youngest partner ever in that area, in that law firm. And however, while she's just about to become the partner, she commits a mistake, a grave mistake that costs her her entire career. In the process of she gets really scared. In the process of escaping all of it, she just moves out of the building and boards a train, and she finds herself in the middle of nowhere. She just goes and takes shelter at a house in the night, and later when she wakes up in the morning, she realizes that she's been mistaken for a new housemaid in their house, and she's supposed to do all the domestic chores which she's never done before in her life, like cooking and ironing clothes, washing clothes, etc., all of that. And she's really, really bad at it. It's a very, very funny account of how she goes through all of that, and it's a very pitiable account also to see, to see her struggle through all of that. And while she's there, she's also embroiled herself in another romantic connection at that same house. So see if she's able to get out of the trouble, if she settles back in the life or she doesn't. It's a really, really good book, and gives a very good perspective on how what kind of burnout do corporate lawyers face, and what kind of work they're expected to, what life do they have, etc., all that. So definitely I would by all means recommend you to go ahead and read it. The fourth book in the process is India's Money Heist: The Chelambara Bank Robbery, written by Anirban Bhattacharya. He is also the producer and maker of shows like Crime Patrol and Savdhan India, etc. So he's really good at all these crime stories. Now this book is about a robbery that happens in Chelambara area of Kerala. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. In Kerala, it's a very sleepy town according to the book. It happens in 2007, and on the New Year's Eve, on 31st December, the robbery happens in the bank to the extent of 8 crore rupees. The robbers rob gold worth of 8 crore rupees, and they flee the scene. And then the entire investigation is headed by Jain, the inspector there, and Inspector General, I feel, there. And this entire account shows, it's a very interesting book because it shows perspectives of both the criminal and the police, and how they outwit each other at various points in time, and what all evidences are there to be looked at, etc. So this entire book talks a lot about the procedural aspects of the law, like say how evidence is gathered, what all evidence is required to frame the criminal, etc., how investigation is carried on, and all of that. So if somebody is a budding criminal lawyer, is already a criminal lawyer, they would really enjoy reading the book, because the accuracy with which the things are portrayed in the book is phenomenal. And I would by whole heart go recommend this book to you. The last book is If God Was a Banker. It is by Ravi Subramaniam. Like basically, it's not a legal fiction per se. It's about a corporate setup. But yes, people in in-house and in the banking and finance teams of law firms would really relate to it, because it talks about two MBA graduates who sort of get a position at the New York International Bank, and they go on to start working there. So it talks about how to climb the corporate ladder, about professional ethics, about sexual harassment at workplace, about setting up the banking practice in India, essentially, in the 1990s and the early 2000s. So it's very interesting from the financial perspective to read all of that. All the technical terms are really interesting. It's almost like a financial thriller. The only negative point about this book is that there is no main plot in the book. There are very too many segments of from various life situations of these two people who joined the bank together, and that's why the book drags a bit in the middle somewhere. But yes, it's one of the bestseller. It's gotten too many awards the time it was released. It is almost sold over 2.5 lakh copies till date. So yeah, I'm not recommending it, but I wouldn't stop you from reading it also. So yeah, I mean, these are the 5 books that I wanted to recommend you. If you have any more suggestions, please put them in the comments. I would love to read and review them for everyone else. And if you've read any of those, please let me know in the comments again. Like, I would love to know your opinion on the same, and I would want to discuss it with you. And yes, I'm going to see you next week with another good video. Thank you.